Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles in this episode. She did not want to waste her time, waste her life watching an episode of Disney Star Wars, so I did it for the both of us. I actually sat through episode 3 of The Acolyte, and my God, it did not disappoint. So I'm very glad that I'm at a place right now with my fandom where I can take it or leave it. You know, I think with Star Wars, like if you were on the fence about whether or not it's time to walk away from Disney's Star Wars, this episode will probably push you over. I'm just saying. I am just saying. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Check out the audio edition of Clownfish TV. You can go out to wherever podcasts are hosted, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. Check it out. God, I don't even know where to begin. So yeah, apparently we've seen the America Chavezing of Star Wars, where this episode there are going to be spoilers in it. I don't know if you care if you're watching this video, listening to this podcast, whatever. But yeah, we've reached America Chavez levels of cringe in Star Wars. Disney Star Wars. Yes, we have a utopian society of lesbian witches, and they can apparently get each other pregnant with the Force somehow, but they don't call it the Force. They call it the thread. You know, so it's like a religious difference. I don't know. So we had one lesbian knock up another lesbian with the Force thread or whatever the hell was going on before Anakin Skywalker, like 100 years before Anakin Skywalker. And they had twins, and one twin's a good twin, one twin's a bad twin. When she's bad, she's really, really bad. And so is the acting in a lot of this. I will give props, though. I will give props to some of the actors. I think the actress that played the Mother Witch, I think she was actually really good. And I definitely think the Korean guy that played the one Jedi, and I didn't watch the first 2 episodes. I don't know. Soul? Is that his name? Soul? I thought he was pretty good. They were given some shit to work with. And that being said, like I can acknowledge that the Last Jedi actually had some good acting here and there. It was just wasted on a waste of a movie overall. But yeah, this is the kill shot, man. Like if you thought that there was any hope for Disney Star Wars, that they were getting it together with The Mandalorian, this abandon all hope, right? All the leaks are true. All the rumors are true. This is about the lesbian witch cult and the Jedi acting like child protective services, trying to take their kids away to join the Jedi. And one girl wants to go and the other girl doesn't want to go. And she basically burns down the entire coven of witches somehow. I mean, they can get each other pregnant with the Force, but none of them know how to put out a fire, or you know, they don't have like fire extinguishers in their rock base, which inexplicably catches on fire. Everything in this show is flammable. In fact, Polygon even called it out. They're like, what the hell is up with the rock catching on fire in the Acolyte? Yeah, that's a damn good question. So I want to walk it back. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be angry, right? I mean, I could do you guys a huge disservice and be like, oh, I'm so angry that they've destroyed Star Wars again. But like, Star Wars has been dead ever since Disney signed the papers, right? Every once in a while. It's just like Marvel. Every once in a while, we get a good something out of it, depending on the people working on the project. But it is corporate. It is corporate product. And they're putting people in charge. Apparently, the person in charge of this episode has never seen anything Star Wars ever. So that totally tracks. But I want to go back to Cannes Film Festival. I want to go back to George Lucas. And I think he saw this episode. I think they gave it to him. He didn't come out and say it, but it sounds like he saw this episode, because he said Disney fundamentally doesn't understand what the Force is. And we had strong women in Star Wars before Disney. So listen to this clip. If you guys haven't seen this yet, I got to give a hat tip to 97 Bravo, who took this off of, I guess, oh no, it came from Star Wars Theory. Never mind. Star Wars Theory off of TikTok, but I'll give a hat tip to 97 Bravo. And yeah, basically George Lucas is like, Disney doesn't understand the Force. It's very clear they don't understand the Force. And they don't acknowledge that we had strong women in Star Wars before Kathleen Kennedy got her fingers into it. Which, by the way, I do want to point out, he is the one who put Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Lucasfilm. So everybody's complaining about Disney and Bob Iger and whatever. George Lucas hired Kathleen Kennedy, because I remember the announcement. And I remember thinking to myself, well, she's been involved in all these Steven Spielberg projects and she's been in Hollywood for a very long time. She would understand George pretty well, I think, and what he wanted. And then as soon as she got the keys to the candy store, she just went wild with it. But let's listen to this real quick.
He said, there's no women in the movies. I said, who do you think the heroes are in those films? What do you think Princess Leia was? She is the head of the rebellion. She's the one that's taking this young kid that doesn't know anything and this boisterous, I know everything guy who can't do anything, trying to save the rebellion with these clowns. She's the hero of the movie. It's the same thing with Queen Amidala. Even though she has Jedi on her side, she was still the hero prime mover. You can't just put a woman in pants and expect her to be a hero. They can wear dresses, they can wear whatever they want. It's their brains and their ability to think and plan and be logistical. That's what the hero is.
Yeah. He also in that same speech talked about how Disney fundamentally did not understand the Force. But yeah, it's very clear they don't understand the Force. It's very clear they don't understand Star Wars. It's very clear they don't understand their market. We did a video yesterday. Parrot Analytics, an objective third party, came out and said that the market for Star Wars is 70% male, men over 30. That is the market for Star Wars. Marvel, it's 60% men. So Disney decides that they're just gonna try to push out every last man from this franchise. And look, this thing, the change to the Force is as fundamental, I believe, as The Last Jedi. They're basically saying the Force isn't what we think it is. It's a thread. You can use it, abuse it, tug at it, yank it, spank it, whatever you want to do. Apparently, you can spank the Force, yank the Force, and get pregnant by the Force. That's like a thing that happened, in this. But yeah, it's just like I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about this anymore. Oh, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about these franchises in a video yesterday talking about Doctor Who, where I'm at the place right now where it's so much easier. It's so much easier to just walk away. It's so much easier to just be like, you know what? This isn't George Lucas's Star Wars. He said as much. I don't have to acknowledge it as George Lucas's Star Wars. I don't have to watch it. I am under no obligation to watch this stuff. I'm under no obligation to buy any merchandise associated with it. I'm not telling you to rage quit something you like. If you like it, that's good for you. Good for you. But, Disney has missed the mark with Star Wars and Marvel. Big time. And we're seeing the same thing with Doctor Who now, too. Of course, that was already, the wheels were already in motion there. The wheels were already coming off the bus. But Disney fundamentally does not understand Star Wars. The people working at Lucasfilm do not understand Star Wars. Even the ones that have been there for decades, it blows my mind. It's like, God, you can bring Jon Favreau in. Jon Favreau can come in as a fan and make better Star Wars than the people that have been at Lucasfilm for decades. How the hell does that happen? But like I said, it's the same thing with Marvel Comics. Every once in a while, they'll get it right because you have people working on these projects, these corporate-owned projects and IP that understand what the fans are looking for. They understand their market. They understand the demographic. Just like X-Men 97. Bo DeMeo, clearly a fan of classic X-Men. He understood it. That being said, I don't think that the next iteration of X-Men is going to look anything like Bo DeMeo's. I think we're going to have totally different people in charge. And it's probably going to be a shit show, if I'm being honest. I think even season 2 of X-Men 97, are they going to call it X-Men 98? I don't know. I think it's probably not going to be as good, nearly as good as the first season, because he was a fan. He understood what other fans wanted. And what we have now are a bunch of people working on a property they're not even a fan of. This comes from Games Radar. The Acolyte has a writer that had never seen Star Wars. Here's how they made the show even better in episode 3. What? Yeah, the Acolyte creator Leslie Headland hasn't been shy about wanting a writer's room that doesn't just include those who were massive Star Wars fans. It was that unique outside perspective that led to a useful piece of feedback that helped elevate and improve scenes in the Acolyte's most recent episode. They said kids weren't talking like kids, they're talking like Star Wars characters. And they start talking about the sweet treats, spice creams. I thought they were saying space cream. I thought these kids wanted space cream. I think one of their mamas got space cream, and that's where they came from. It's just like, look, I don't even know what to say anymore. This is funny. This is coming from Forbes, and he had to change it. I think this is Eric Kane. I'll read this review because he probably sums it up better than I can. I'm not even mad. It's so weird. So, in Star Trek The Next Generation, was it Tapestry? I just saw it the other night. The episode where Picard gets stabbed through the back by the Nausicaan in the bar. And he laughs. He looks down and laughs. That's kind of where I'm at with all this stuff. Like, we know it's going to be terrible. We know it's going to be awful. We know Disney is going to Disney. We know these people, they're going to bring people into these franchises, into the comics and into all this geek shit that they're not fans of it. We know it's going to be awful. You just go in with that expectation. And it's so much easier. It is so much easier. I guess what hurts about this for a lot of people, though, is it looked like they had it together with The Mandalorian, the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian. It's like, oh, you tricked me. I was going to come back. I was going to come back to Star Wars. I was going to give you another chance. And then the other shoe dropped. Kind of the same with comics right now. Marvel kind of lured me back with Ultimate Spider-Man. And then I've heard that it's come off the rails already. It's like these corporations are going to do what they're going to do. Get used to it. But yeah, this is Eric Kane from Forbes. Now, the current title is The Acolyte Episode 3 Review, one of the most disappointing Star Wars episodes ever made. The original review was The Acolyte Episode 3 Review, one of the worst, not disappointing, one of the worst Star Wars episodes ever made, he said. The third episode of The Acolyte is an embarrassment to the entire franchise. The same could be said for so much Star Wars these days outside of Andor. That's not untrue. And look, I've heard Andor's good. I still didn't watch it. Because why would I get reinvested? Because I know for every Andor, we've got an Acolyte waiting. Why would I even bother, Disney? Why would I bother? You have chased off your target audience. I don't care anymore. Congratulations. I don't even buy original trilogy stuff anymore. I don't care. And so many other people in your target demographic, men over age 30, don't care. And we took our money with us. This is why all these action figures are rotting away at Ollie's. That's why you close a Galactic Star Cruiser, because people my age, we actually probably, a lot of us have the money to go to the Galactic Star Cruiser, but it's not original trilogy. So who the hell cares? Anyway, yeah, here's an exchange between two characters. May, the Jedi are bad. Osha, the Jedi are good. Later, those same two characters, the twins, as children in this flashback episode, say to one another, "What have you done? What have you done? What have you done?" I want to ask Disney the same question. What have you done? Yeah. So May loves her witch coven so much that she burns all those bitches in a fit of rage because her sister wants to leave and become a Jedi. It makes no damn sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. And all the witches just like fall over dead. Like there's a fire and they all die in a fire. The end. Like they're supposed to be force sensitive, right? Like they couldn't see it coming. They knew the Jedi were sneaking around. Nobody had a fire extinguisher. handy. They don't have like water magic. The way they're doing their hands, it looked like they were trying to like water bend or something. Eric Kane from Forbes says these hacks are ruining Star Wars because they can't write, they can't tell stories, they can't avoid plot holes, they can't create compelling characters, and they hide behind their self-righteousness instead of learning from their mistakes. This entire episode is a bad joke, he says. We learn that May and Osha lived with their mothers in a society of witches, all of whom are female. Yes, lesbian, space, force witches. It's just like America Chavez, my two moms, and I'm a biological. So look, I'm seeing a thread in Disney-owned entertainment in the last couple of years. We have America Chavez having two moms, and she is genetically of those two moms, as I understand it. Unless they retconned it, I think they kind of retconned it like she was having a hallucination or something. But for a while there, she had two space moms, and of course, she's the biological child of two space moms. Then we have them retconning X-Men, Nightcrawler's origin. Mystique turns into a dude and gets his girlfriend wife pregnant. His, them, they, their, hers. See, I'm really confused. So basically we have, again, two chicks having a biological child. And now we have lesbian space witches conceiving with the Force. I'm just saying. It feels like somebody has a fetish over there. You know, I'm just saying. Right? Anyway. Yeah, he even says, it appears they were conceived using the Force or something. Force using witches are also apparently frowned upon in the galaxy. They call the Force the thread. I'm getting dark side vibes here. I'm also getting a sense that this will try to be all edgy and make the Jedi out to be the bad guys. Well, they've already done that. In fact, they're bragging about it on IGN. The Acolyte episode 3 continues the most important theme of The Last Jedi, which is basically the Force is for everybody, not just the Jedi. There are no chosen ones. Anybody can be a Jedi. Anyone can use the Force. Anybody can be a pretty princess. Buy our merch. Buy our BB-8 shit. Buy our Baby Yoda shit. This is the deconstruction of Star Wars. This is why Luke Skywalker, bad. Anakin Skywalker, bad. The patriarchy, bad. The Jedi are bad because they want to keep all the power to themselves. And that is kind of the through line of this episode. Is like, we should just be allowed to be lesbian space witches and just do whatever the fuck we want to do. But here come the Jedi, Child Protective Services, and they're going to take our kids away. They're going to brainwash our kids. They're going to deprogram them or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. And look, in the prequels, the Jedi, they're not the bad guys, but they're clearly misguided. I mean, they are arrogant, and that is what led to their downfall. They were arrogant and they were blinded and they didn't think the Sith could come back. And that led to their destruction ultimately. But, you know, I mean, this is just like right on the damn nose. Like, yes, Jedi bad. The Force is for everybody. Everybody's got to be a broom kid. And they are deconstructing Star Wars. They literally are deconstructing Star Wars. The people in charge of Star Wars hate Star Wars. That's all I can think. The people in charge of Star Wars absolutely hate Star Wars, just like the people that Disney put in charge of Marvel seem to hate Marvel. The people in charge of Dungeons and Dragons hate the people that made Dungeons and Dragons because they were making jokes about being a bunch of white dudes from the flyover states, right? To celebrate the 50th anniversary, and they turned the classic warrior from the red box into an overweight brown woman just to troll people, I think. So the people that are put in charge of these franchises hate the franchise and they hate the audience. You know, it's just like, yeah, this is funny. Scattered thoughts. What a disaster. This guy said, IGN says this episode offers up a lot of tantalizing new layers. Bullshit. I'm confused about the entire motivation of May, who wants revenge on the Jedi, but is actually the one responsible for killing everybody for no damn good reason. The Jedi in episode 2 killed himself over this. I don't know. I didn't watch the first 2 episodes. I don't care. The show had a $180 million budget. And he says, I cannot for the life of me tell where any of it's gone. Everything feels small. Every set feels claustrophobic. There's no sense of scale or variety. It's also so relentlessly generic. But hey, lightsabers. Yeah, I don't know where it went either. Every episode of this show cost as much as Godzilla -1. Let that sink in. I don't know if Carrie Ann Moss is getting the big bucks these days or what the hell is going on. That's why she's only on screen for like 5 minutes at a time. But look, Disney Star Wars is dead. It's been dead. It's been dead. Expecting it to come back to life is like expecting a Christmas miracle, right? Grandpa is dying. Grandpa is on his deathbed, or grandma, since, the Force is female. Grandma is on her deathbed. She has one good day before she dies. And this is true. This actually happens. I've witnessed this myself. I forget what they call it exactly, but a lot of times when people are dying and they're dying from a prolonged disease, they might be in and out of consciousness for weeks. And then, for a day or two, they wake up and they act like, oh my God, it's a miracle. They're getting better. No, it's the body's last push before all the lights get shut off. And that's what it feels like with Star Wars. I think The Mandalorian, those first 2 seasons, that was the last push, the last hurrah. And now Star Wars is just fucking dead. It's dead. Just move on. It's time to move on. Take your time, take your money. They clearly don't want the 70% male over 30 demographic anymore, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not gonna fight you. You can fucking have it. You can have it. You can have it. Good luck with that. I'm just gonna go find something else to like, or just watch old stuff. Watch the original trilogy again. Just pretend like Disney never bought it. I'm gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.